Hi guys, we're back. We're on chapter 8. In chapter 7, we got to hear a little bit more about Dr. Lee's backstory. She was the kayaker who they found. She had that encounter with Noah Blackwood where he kind of stole her, what we're assuming is a dinosaur egg, and so she had to sneak in and steal it back. And so she meets Grace and Marty, and she kind of discloses her backstory. She used to work in a circus or perform in a circus doing the high wire, which is really interesting. So her parents, I guess, were the owners of the circus, and they died, but she didn't explain how they died. Um, and so it sounds like Dr. Lee and the Uncle Wolf are going to go together to that Lake Tele where she got the egg and try to warn the tribe leader there. I think he's the tribe leader about Noah Blackwood possibly coming there to hurt him or to get information out of him. So sounds like Wolf's plan is to send the children back to the academy, but we know that that probably won't happen. Otherwise, what a boring book, right? So we'll see. This one is called Dinner. All right, Marty knew better than to jump right into the subject of going to the Congo with his uncle. Things like this had to be handled with great delicacy. At the dinner table were the Bishops, their daughters Phyllis, also known as Phil Jr., Laurel Lee, Grace, who looked a little pensive after her conversation with Laurel, and Wolf, who was tapping away on his gizmo with furious speed, virtually ignoring the plate in front of him. "Bertha, this food is delicious," Phil said. "I mean it." "I can't take much credit," Bertha said. "Marty had a hand in every dish. It turns out that he's quite a chef." Marty saw his opening. "I'm an even better cook in the field," he boasted. "I'd take a campfire under the open sky over an oven any day." Wolf continued tapping, as if he hadn't heard. Grace gave her brother the stink eye. Here we go, she thought. "Where did you learn to cook?" Phyllis asked. She looked more like her father than her mother. Marty guessed her to be in her early 30s. "Oh, here and there," Marty said. "School mostly, but I learned field cooking during one of my wilderness survival courses." "You've taken survival courses?" "Dozens of them." More like half a dozen, Grace thought. Marty continued. "A few of my instructors said that I knew more about wilderness survival than they did. After cooking, I don't want to brag, but I can make boa constrictor taste like chicken cordon bleu." Wolf still did not look up, but there was a definite pause in his tapping. Now, Marty thought, I should be able to cook up some pretty good grub when we're in the Congo, he said. The tapping stopped. Wolf looked up from his gizmo. "Did you say the Congo?" "Yes, sir, I did. The rumor is we're going there to find a dinosaur and help a friend of yours out of a jam with Noah Blackwood." "And where did you hear this?" He glared at Bertha, who shook her head. Marty did not answer. He didn't want to get Grace into trouble for spying. Grace started. "I'm afraid I let the cat out of the bag," Laurel interrupted. Wolf shot her an angry look. "Laurel didn't do it." "Laurel didn't do it," Marty said, jumping into the deceit with both feet. "I found the dinosaur egg in the library. I asked Laurel what it was, and one thing led to another." "I see," Wolf said. "That's not what," Grace began, but Marty cut her off by asking Wolf if he was a cryptozoologist. "Yes, I am." "Incredible," Marty said. "I've been interested in cryptids for ages." Grace rolled her eyes. "What a coincidence," Wolf said without much enthusiasm. I think that's funny because Marty didn't even know what cryptids were like 24 hours ago, and now he says he's been into it for ages. "So when are you leaving?" Marty asked. "The Congo is no place for kids," Wolf said. "It's one of the most hostile environments on Earth. The rivers and swamps are filled with crocodiles, venomous snakes, and biting insects. It's a hotbed of malaria, Ebola virus, and other deadly diseases, I'm afraid." "So how big is this dinosaur?" Marty interrupted, even though he already knew. He had learned from experience that the longer he could avoid the word no, the better chance he had in getting a yes. "Not big as far as dinosaurs go," Wolf said. "A little bigger than an elephant, which is one of the reasons Mokola Membe survived for such a long time." "So you've seen this Mokola Membe?" Marty asked. Wolf got a far-off look in his eyes. "Yes," he finally said. "I saw the very last two. I saw them just before they died." "Maybe there are others," Marty offered. Wolf shook his head sadly. "Doubtful." "Well," Bertha said cheerfully, "how about some ice cream for everyone?" "Sounds good to me," Phil said. Marty was not about to be bought off with a bowl of ice cream. Is there such a thing as Bigfoot? He would get back to the Congo in due time. Of course, Wolf said, and I believe there's an Asian version as well. The abominable snowman or Yeti? Marty said. That's right, although I haven't seen one of those yet, but we were very close when we were last in China. But you've seen Bigfoot? Marty asked. Wolf nodded. Where? Right here in Washington. Wow, what's it like? Intelligent, shy, and somewhat aggressive when cornered. You've cornered one? It's a long story, Wolf answered. I'll tell it to you sometime, but right now I'd better get back to my email. Grace let out an exaggerated yawn. I'm tired, she said. Maybe we should go to bed and let Wolf get his work done. Go ahead, Marty said. And leave you alone with Wolf, Grace thought, not in a 65 million years. I was wondering how you send email with the gizmo, Marty said. Don't be rude, Marty, Grace protested. He just said he had work to do. That's okay, Wolf said, obviously relieved to talk about something other than the Congo and cryptids. Come over here and I'll show you. It will only take a minute. Marty walked around the table and stood behind Wolf. Let me see your gizmo. Marty handed it to him. You might as well get in on this too, Grace. It will save me from going through it twice. I don't have time to show you everything the gizmo does tonight, but I can take you through some of the basic functions. Grace was not interested in electronic gizmos, but it was better than talking about going to the Congo. Wolf asked to see Marty's identification tag. He slid it into the slot on the top of the gizmo, and the screen came to life. Welcome, Marty. You mean the tags aren't just tracking devices? Marty asked. They're a lot more than that. Your tag will activate any gizmo and make it your own. You can also activate unassigned tracking tags by putting them into the slot. So you have to insert the tag every time? No, just once. Wolf pointed at the icons on the screen. You can now access your private cyber vault. Email. But I don't have an email account here, Marty said. Yes, you do, and you don't need a phone line. The gizmos are directly linked to our Hunter satellite, which beams your email right to the unit. You have your own satellite? Yes, and we're hoping to launch a second one next year if we can get the funding. You can send and receive email from nearly anywhere in the world, providing you have a clear shot at our satellite. Wow, Marty pointed at the screen. What's a cyber vault? That's one of the gizmo's best features. Wolf pointed to a small lens above the screen. This is a built-in camera. You can use it for live teleconferencing, meaning you can talk to anyone face-to-face if they have a camera connected to their computer. If you want to save something, say a sketch or a document, all you have to do is hold it up to the lens and take a photo of it. The image is automatically downloaded into your personal cyber vault. That way, your work will be virtually safe forever. Oh my gosh, it's just like a smartphone. But this book is older than smartphones, so it's so funny how he's so amazed by this gizmo. Unless you lose the gizmo, Grace said. Marty was always losing things. Wolf shook his head. If you dropped your gizmo into the crater of an active volcano and it turned to ash, what you'd saved would still be perfectly safe. Your cyber vault is not in the unit. When you store or save something with the gizmo, it's uploaded to a satellite, then beamed down to your cyber vault back here on Kryptos. And only you have the combination to get into it. I wouldn't want the gizmo to fall into the wrong hands. There are only 6 in existence. But lost or not, your data is perfectly safe in the cyber vault. Oh my gosh, it's just like Google Drive, but it's the cyber vault. All you have to do is insert your identification tag into another gizmo and you'll be ready to go again. I'll be careful, Marty said. The first thing he was going to do was download every drawing and comic book idea into his sketchbook. He always worried about losing them. How does the video thing work? He asked. I saw a little clip this afternoon after Laurel was rescued. Did you shoot it from the helicopter? Not exactly, Wolf glanced at his watch. Look, Marty, I really need to get my work done. We should have some time tomorrow to talk about the gizmo's other features. Can we continue this later? I guess so. Wolf gave him back the gizmo and stood up. I'll see you 2 tomorrow morning. Please don't get the wrong impression. I'm delighted you're here with me and I'm sorry for the rough beginning we've had. But there are some things I absolutely have to take care of tonight. We'll start again in the morning and see if we can't smooth things out. Can we talk about the Congo tomorrow as well? Marty asked. Wolf gave him a wary nod. He started out of the room, then stopped and turned. Bertha probably already told you, but I don't want either of you wandering around the island until I've had a chance to explain how it works around here. There are things on the island, he hesitated. What I mean to say is that I don't want you getting lost, so please stay close to the house for the time being. We will, Grace assured him. Marty was already checking his email on the gizmo. All right, that was a pretty short chapter. So we learned a little bit more about the gizmo, and we will read chapter 9 next time. All right, bye.